Hello YouTube world, my name is Nicholas Montez, and you're watching my YouTube channel, The Teenage Movie Critic, and I'm your fellow movie enthusiast, Nicholas Montez. And today I want to do another live stream. I'm a little busy at the moment, so I won't be able to pull out a full edited video for you guys like this. But I still wanted to talk about it and doing a updated Dreamworks tier list. I realized because I actually watched The Bad Guys 2 last week, and I thought, well, I don't really have an updated list of my Dreamworks ranking, so I'm like, why not just go ahead and do a tier list of all the movies? I will say, trying to plan this out was a little bit tricky because I have a lot of opinions on a lot of these movies, and, especially trying to pick my favorites, my top 10, and putting them in certain tiers. It was a lot of discussion between myself, and I. So with that said, let's go ahead and get started talking about all 50 Dreamworks movies. So actually, I have about 8 different tiers: S plus tier, S tier, A, B, C, D, F, and trash tier. Pretty much, those are going to go with, like, the raccoons. Are there raccoons in a DreamWorks movie? I can't actually remember. Is there a raccoon character in DreamWorks? I can't remember. Anyway, let's go ahead and get started. So we start off with the movie Ants. And it's kind of interesting when we're starting to talk about DreamWorks, and you look at you compare it to DreamWorks to the other animation studios that are out there with Disney and Pixar, which started off so successfully with films like Toy Story and Snow White. And then DreamWorks just kind of starts off with Ants, and it's not the best run of films. Granted, it is not a bad movie per se, but it's certainly not my favorite. I like the concept of ants and these soldiers and stuff. And, DreamWorks at its core has always been, dark movies and stuff like that, and they definitely have gone dark sometimes. But what I liked but I think that this attempt to do so didn't really work that much. And it's a risk, so it attempted to do it, but it didn't do it well. Also, the fact that it came out the same year as A Bug's Life kind of says something, but kind of seemed like a weird year to release it in. I'll put it in D. So yeah, I'll put it in D. But now let's talk about The Prince of Egypt. Actually, no, wait. Yeah, I'm going to put this one in F. Because honestly, I don't really see anything memorable about it. It's not trash, but it's definitely not very good either. Then we have Prince of Egypt. Now, Prince of Egypt is a must-see DreamWorks movie. I think the animation is stellar. I think the score from Hans Zimmer is incredible. And I also love the characters. And honestly, this is personally my favorite Jesus movie. I know that's kind of high praise because I normally don't watch Jesus movies, but this is probably the best one I've ever seen. So I'm putting this one in the S tier. I can't put it in A or S plus tier, but this is also an important movie because this is one of the few films I cried in. So I'm going to put it in for that. Next up, we have Road to El Dorado. Now, I'm going to be honest, I haven't seen this movie since I first saw it. And I probably need to do that because, honestly, every time there's a clip of it online or something like that, it kind of makes me laugh. But also that girl in the film, which I don't even remember her name, but she's incredibly attractive. Like, she's incredibly attractive. At first, I'm like, there's just nothing attractive about her. Okay, her hips, whatever. But then you actually see it and it's like, oh, yeah. There is something there. But as for the movie itself, I'm not the biggest fan of it. I just kind of thought the movie was kind of boring, and honestly, I never was invested into the characters. I don't know if something was wrong with me that day or something, I don't know. But I just did not get into this movie as much. So, like I said, DreamWorks is hit or miss. So, this was kind of a miss. I'm going to put this one in F, but it's going to go above Ants. Most definitely above Ants. Chicken Run. Chicken Run is definitely a movie I like. I think it's good. It's a good stop motion movie. I don't think DreamWorks' amazing at stop motion movies. I think they're fine. As an Aardman movie, it's pretty good. I'll put this one in B. So yeah, B is good. Shrek. Oh yeah, this is a top tier DreamWorks movie. Me personally, this is a movie that me and my sister constantly quote. It is a movie that, you know, it stands out in pop culture. The soundtrack is amazing. And it's honestly one of the most rewatchable films I've seen in all of my life. Granted, I like other movies more than Shrek, though I do, so I find it a little bit overrated sometimes, but I cannot deny what it was doing. It's also one of the few 3D animated films that came out during the 2000s, so it stands out because of that. Then we have Spirit, Stallion of the Cimarron. This is a film that I personally really liked. Mainly because the animation was just gorgeous, and this story was really beautiful. Now, what do I feel about Matt Damon, like, narrating the story? It was fine. But I'll put this one in A, mainly because I'm not the biggest fan of movies that are about horses. Horses don't really interest me all that much. But still, we'll put it there because I kind of enjoyed it. Sinbad, Legend of the Seven Seas. This is a complicated one because part of me really enjoys this. But I also know that it is a pretty flawed movie. So, I'm going to put this movie... where do I put this movie? This is hard. I'll put it in C. Now we have Shrek 2. Obviously, I think this is better than the first film. It is so much better than the first movie. So good. Just top tier sequel, funny, great introduction of Puss in Boots. Just overall great. I Need a Hero. The soundtrack is better. The story is better. Everything about it is just masterpiece. Shark Tale. So this is actually going to be one of the few films that the reason I created the D tier was because of Shark Tale. Because I understand why this movie's hated, but there are a rare few movies that I tend to enjoy, and Shark Tale is one of them. So I'm putting this one in D. Mainly because this is like a film that I constantly rewatch. I constantly quote my sister. There's just things that I enjoy about this movie. And whether it's flawed and, you know, it's kind of like Ants in a way where it tries to go raunchy and stuff, but yet it doesn't mesh well because this is a film for children. But you look at movies like Prince of Egypt and Shrek and stuff like that. Those movies worked while at the same time having adult jokes. These movies are like telling adult jokes straight to the kids' faces, and I don't even know if they're realizing it. But who cares? I still think it's very enjoyable. And, you know, I had the biggest... I'm pretty sure you and I, all had the biggest crush on Lola growing up. But now it's weird to like fish in cartoons. Okay, whatever. Next up, we have Madagascar. This is one that I find okay. It's good. To be honest, I forgot what the C tier was for. Yeah, I think I know what I'm going to put in there. So, Madagascar, I find to be an okay movie. Now, I'm going to put it in B, and the main reason for this is because while it's not anything influential like Chicken Run, I'll put it in B because it's very rewatchable, and it's very quotable. And these actors and actresses really do a good job of selling these characters. So, I'll put it there. Wallace and Gromit: The Curse of the Were-Rabbit is a film that will be going in the C tier. Honestly, not that big fan of Aardman movies. I remember when I would watch the trailers for it, for Shark Tale, this would be one of the main trailers on the Shark Tale DVD, and honestly, it was pretty iconic. And then I finally saw the movie, and I'm like, this is really good, but then I'm thinking about it, and I'm like, oh, yeah, I'm not, like, it's good, but it's not my favorite thing. Over the Hedge. Over the Hedge is a movie that I actually really like. I think it's very fun. I kind of want to go back and rewatch it because that's another movie that like pops up on the DVDs and like the trailer's just so good. Like I gotta tell you, some of the DVDs I own for DreamWorks movies, they're top tier. Like they're so top tier. I'm putting this one in the B category. This was just a good movie. Flushed Away. Honestly, just another solid DreamWorks movie. Just another solid, fun comedy starring Hugh Jackman. This movie was good. This is one of the better Aardman movies for me. Now, as to where I would place it, it's kind of like Great Mouse Detective for DreamWorks, except it's not as memorable as films like Over the Hedge or Chicken Run or Madagascar. So I still enjoy it. I still like it. And it's definitely better than Wallace and Gromit, The Curse of the Were-Rabbit, but I'm going to put this one in B. Yeah, that's where I'll put it. Now we have Shrek the Third. So this is where we get back to the... We know it's bad, but it's highly entertaining movies. And this goes in the D tier at the top. Mainly because even though it's a bad Shrek movie, it's still a very entertaining Shrek movie. And there's just a lot of things to like about this. Of course, the princesses in here, they're great. I like some of the action. I will say the King Arthur stuff is a little bit awkward. And Prince Charming, like, rallying up all the villains is kind of dumb. And there's honestly just some moments where, like, they kind of go a little too far with the crudeness in it and the adultness in it. To where it's like all these high school students are so terrible. They're so disgusting and weird. And the whole plot line of Shrek having kids was kind of executed poorly. So that's kind of what I think about that. It is my least favorite Shrek movie, but I still do really appreciate it. Because it is a pretty enjoyable movie. Next up we have B Movie, another just flawed but very entertaining movie. Now, of course, all my friends that know about the movie, they quote it constantly. You like jazz? The fact that Joe from Family Guy is not only in Zootopia 2 playing the horse mayor, but he's also in this guy basically getting cheated on with his girlfriend by a bee. And then the bee basically says not to sell honey anymore. And it caused this whole nature reserve thing. And in some cases, that does kind of make a compelling storyline. But there's some things in here where I'm like, it's kind of dumb and stupid. And it kind of works, but it's also really stupid. So it's like, it's not great cinema or anything, but it's definitely more entertaining. So I think I'm putting this in the top of D tier because it's so stupid, but then it yet becomes entertaining. So it's like, that's the thing that's great. A movie, however, that it has a plotline that's so stupid, yet it makes it to be one of the greatest things I've ever seen in my life, is Kung Fu Panda. Because they literally take this whole, and I'm putting this one in the S plus tier, because literally they take this whole concept of a panda doing Kung Fu, and they naturally make it the best thing that's ever come to cinema, ever. To where you care about the characters, the action is badass, you have Hans Zimmer doing the score, and the animation is quite stunning, whether it's 2D or 3D. It's quite awesome. And to be clear, we haven't gotten to the second one yet, but spoiler alert, I like the first one more. I know that's probably a hot take, but that's just how I feel. Then we have Madagascar, Escape to Africa. I, for one, think that this is a better movie than the first one. Now, as to how much of a film does this stand out towards the rest, I think that this is definitely the best of the B tier for now. I think, I have definitely some positive opinions on Croods. I like Over the Hedge. I think Chicken Run is good. Madagascar is decent, but it's still entertaining. And then Flushed Away, it's still very entertaining, but it's definitely the most decent of the bunch. I'm trying to make it okay to how I place my films. Monsters vs. Aliens. Now, I know if you can't see the movies down here, so I'm just going to say what's next and what's coming, so just to let you know. Hold up, okay. So, Monsters vs. Aliens, yeah, I don't like this movie. Yeah, I'm gonna put this one in trash, unfortunately. Now, when I first saw it, honestly, I'm like, okay, this is an okay movie. It's not the worst thing ever. But then I started thinking about it, and I'm like, yeah, I don't really like anything about this movie. Like, first off, I hate the human characters. Their voices are really just so annoying. And also, I just never really fucked with the monsters. Even the Seth Rogen monster. I honestly, like, I watch it, I think about it, and I kind of find them annoying. Like, and then the human characters, like, once again, they're dumb and they're annoying. That's all I gotta say. Now we have How to Train Your Dragon. Now, everybody praises the hell out of this movie. I, for one, am not the biggest How to Train Your Dragon fan. I love the trilogy. I think the movies are great. I'm actually a massive fan of the second one. The first one, however, I still think is very good. I'm gonna put this one in A, but it's gonna go below Spirit, mainly because I think that it's still very good. I just, I just don't really understand what's so special about, what happens in this movie that the Hiccup story is very good. It's very entertaining. You get some fun characters. It's a fun story about a dragon and about a boy and his pet dragon. It's fun. And, the whole arc with Stoic is good and everything, and learning to forgive his son. Like, all that stuff is really good. But saying it's like the best thing of all time, I don't understand what you're looking at here. Kung Fu Panda is. How to Train Your Dragon? What are you talking about? I can understand for maybe the second one. It takes it in darker turns and all that stuff, but this one, I still think is very good, but it's not my favorite. Shrek Forever After, another A-tier movie. I thoroughly enjoyed this movie. This is one I practically grew up with, and I think I went to go see this in the theater when I was a baby with my family. So I don't really remember it, but I really enjoyed this one. It's very fun. Megamind. Megamind is a film that I constantly rewatch, and honestly, I tend to like it just a little bit more. Is it a top tier film for me? Not by a long shot, but is it one of my favorites? Yes, it is. I'm gonna put this one in S tier. Honestly, what gets this movie so much better for me is the fact that all the characters, like Megamind is such a great character, but the way it takes a spin on the superhero story and the superhero genre is so excellent, and it's so well done. I just love it every time. Next up, we have Kung Fu Panda 2. Of course, I was a massive fan of the first film, so naturally, I love the second one just as much. I wish I could say I like the second one more, which for a long time I did. And I still love it. It's my second favorite DreamWorks movie of all time. Spoiler alert, but yeah, so that's my thoughts on Kung Fu Panda 2. Just great action, great characters, great introduction to the new story of Po, and I love Lord Shen, and I love everything about it. It's a perfect sequel. It's probably one of the best sequels we've gotten from DreamWorks in a long time. Puss in Boots: The Last... No, not Puss in Boots: The Last Wish. That's a film that comes out way later. Puss in Boots, the original one. Yeah, I'm actually going to put this one in S+ here. Now, I'm putting this one not just because it's my childhood, but this really is an amazing movie for me. Because it takes... And obviously, a movie about one of my favorite characters from the Shrek franchise, they're making a movie about it. So obviously, it's going to be one of the best things ever. And it truly is. You instantly fall in love with this world and Puss's backstory. Kitty Softpaws, played by Salma Hayek, is instantly incredible, and she's hot as fuck. I don't even care if she's just a cat. Like, I do not care. But also, Salma Hayek is hot. So you go look up the picture of her from Army Dusk Till Dawn or whatever. Look up that, and you'll be satisfied. But also, like, I just like that it's another creative fairy tale story. That it's like, what fairy tale story do we choose with this character? we choose the Golden Goose and Jack and Jill. So it's like we're still doing clever stuff with fairy tale characters, and and it still has that grimness that like the Shrek movies had, and I'm like, I love that it kept that. And you know, Humpty Dumpty is okay. It's still kind of crazy that Zach Galifianakis was playing him. But I thoroughly enjoyed Puss in Boots. Madagascar 3 is Europe's Most Wanted. I would say that this is a very fun movie, but it's not the best Madagascar film. I think it works better as a Dreamworks movie rather than a Madagascar movie, because basically it's just a bunch of characters fighting in Europe, joining the circus, and then when it comes to the actual story about them wanting to go back to New York, it's not the most exciting thing. But the movie is very entertaining. It's a very entertaining movie. So I'll put this one in B. Yeah, I think it's very entertaining. Rise of the Guardians. Now, Rise of the Guardians is one that I want to give another rewatch, because I hear people talking about this movie constantly. But yet, I don't know, for some reason, I didn't like it when it first came out. But I'm going to put it in C for right now, because I really do want to go back and rewatch it. The Croods, the big film that is basically going to go in the B category. I think this is one of DreamWorks' most funnest movies. It's not great. It's not aiming to be something better, but it's pure caveman entertainment. And that's all it needs to be. So, there you have it. Turbo, the movie about the racing snail. I found this movie to be kind of lame. Like, the idea of a racing snail where a snail is fast, it kind of has an interesting concept, but also, it kind of is so hard to believe that some of these voice actors, like Samuel L. Jackson, Ryan Reynolds, are voicing snails. And then, of course, 2 years before he played Luis in the Ant-Man movies, Michael Pena decides to play this Hispanic guy and help a snail win a race. And I'm like, bro, come on, man. This is just, honestly, this was trash. Honestly, I wish I could say it's a decent movie, but it's really not. This is lame. This was a lame movie. Mr. Peabody and Sherman, honestly, I found this to be one of DreamWorks' most complex movies ever made. Now, I haven't seen it in a long time, so I do need to go back and rewatch it. I haven't seen it in under 4 years, but I really did love the movie. I love the usage of time travel. I like that it actually has unique time travel sequences, but also unique message for Mr. Peabody and stuff like that, so that was great. But yeah, it's just one of my favorites. I'm putting this one in the S+ tier. Now we have How to Train Your Dragon 2, and once again, just another great movie from the How to Train Your Dragon franchise, and it is going to go in the S category. I think one thing I have a struggle with How to Train Your Dragon, because it's all about dragons, but yet there are no other animals that exist in this world, and that kind of pisses me off, because it's like, how are you guys, like, I understand this is just a Viking story and dragon story, but how are you not going to have, like, any other mention of another animal out there? Like, to make the world vast. Like, movies like Lion King, sure, it's about a lion, but there's other animals in there. You can make a movie about a dragon and include other animals in there. That's always been my struggle with some of these movies. But with How to Train Your Dragon 2, it is a great sequel, you know. I think everything the first film did, this one does better. The emotion is better. The action is better. I like that it's more darker. I like that we get to see Hiccup's mom, and played by Emma Thompson, or no, not Emma Thompson, Cate Blanchett. She's great in the movie. And I love Stoick's character in the film, and the fact that he sacrifices himself. That was great. So I'm actually going to put this above Megamind. Yeah. Or actually, yeah, I'm going to leave that there. Yeah, I'm going to leave that there. Actually, no, yeah, Megamind's there. Penguins of Madagascar. I kind of need to give this another rewatch, because I think I probably realized this, but I think this may be a fun movie. Granted, I probably can admit that there's stupid stuff in the movie, but I'll put this in the C category. Because I kind of want to go back and rewatch it. Home. Home is another guilty pleasure for DreamWorks. Do I understand that it is a bad movie? Yes and no. Because I do kind of have some fun with this movie. The fact that our purple alien is being played by young Sheldon himself. Or, no wait. Sheldon Cooper himself. Is crazy. And this was kind of my introduction to him. That's how I know him. Before Big Bang Theory. Well, technically this came out years after Big Bang Theory, but I still really appreciated it. Where am I going to put this one? I'm putting this one at the bottom of D. The fact that this also stars Jennifer Lopez and Rihanna, it's all right. But yeah, I put it here because I understand it's bad, but I still really enjoy it. Kung Fu Panda 3. So this is where it gets interesting, because this is where I think part of the list, it just gets really interesting. To where I really like the Kung Fu Panda movies. Now, this was kind of where my love for the Kung Fu Panda movies end, because the next one after this is not so good. But with this third one, there's so many things I love. Of course, I love the action. I love the animation. I love the score from Hans Zimmer. I will say, them not using the Furious 5 as much and stuff is kind of underwhelming. And Kai as a villain is cool. J.K. Simmons played him pretty well. But at the same time, his Jade Zombie's army is not the most impressive thing in the world. Overall, this is still a brilliant Kung Fu Panda movie that completes Poe's journey in becoming a Kung Fu teacher. And it fleshes it out so well. And yeah, I am moved by this every time I watch it. It's so good. But I can't put it in S+ here. I gotta put this one in S because of those flaws. But still, I still think this is an amazing movie. Then we have Trolls. And I think Trolls is honestly one of my favorite DreamWorks movies to date. And I'm not lying when I say that. It is a great DreamWorks movie. Okay, I understand that, it is a very childish movie. It's got very childish humor. But if you really think about it, a lot of these characters have become part of pop culture. And also, the soundtrack pops really well. But also, it actually does these characters really well. Of course, this is kind of my introduction to Anna Kendrick and Justin Timberlake as actors. And they're pretty good. They're pretty good as these characters. I thought Branch was a very interesting character to why he stopped singing, and he was actually a more bluish color back then, and he actually turns more blue in this one. And I really enjoyed that. But I'm going to put this one, I'm putting this one in S+ here. This is just one of my favorites. It's always been, it always has been. It's just amazing. Boss Baby. Another one that I know a lot of you absolutely hate. I find it to be one of the best movies ever made. Not only because of its childish humor, but it is so funny, but it's also so heartfelt. And I'm not joking when I say this. I love what this movie does. It is just, it's so flippin' good. Is it the best scripted? No, but it also finds a way to match the film, to match a child's imagination and the story of brotherhood. And it just works really nicely for me. I just find this to be a very good movie. So that's my opinion. Captain Underpants, the first epic movie. I really enjoy this movie. I think it's very good. The potty humor is very acceptable in this movie. And, I've never read a single Captain Underpants book in my life, but this movie rocks. Having Kevin Hart in the movie is great, and, this movie is solid. It's really solid. Then we have How to Train Your Dragon, The Hidden World, and another pretty solid How to Train Your Dragon movie. I do think this is better than the first one. I think every How to Train Your Dragon movie is better than the first. So I'm going to put this one in the A category as well. Great emotion, great action, pretty good villain. And also the comedy in here is really fun too. Abominable. A movie that I really need to rewatch because honestly, I kind of don't remember it. And honestly, I need to give it another rewatch. I might do a rewatch of all the Dreamworks movies when Shrek 5 comes out. Can't confirm that though. So I'll put this in the top of C. Next up, we have Trolls World Tour. And unfortunately, I'm gonna have to put this at the bottom of trash. Actually, I'm putting this at the top of trash because it's would I rather watch Monsters vs. Aliens Turbo or Trolls World Tour? I'm watching Trolls World Tour, but I'm not gonna like it. Mainly because this is one of the worst movies I've seen in the last 5 years. I watched this like a few months after it came out on VOD during on-demand days, because I guess it was on Peacock, and I had Peacock at the time, and it was just terrible. The sound, like, it has an interesting concept of like going through to all these other tribes of like trolls, and they just didn't do anything interesting with it. They had like a troll that was played by Ozzy Osbourne, I think, and then like even the music does not really work well. And then Poppy, like, tries to become best friends with one of the trolls. And honestly, the whole arc with it was just not good. Plus, the whole thing with Branch and Poppy and Branch trying to confirm his feelings about it. It did not work well. And honestly, I don't recommend this movie. It is a bad movie. It is one of the worst movies I've seen in the last few years. The Croods: A New Age. Not entirely amazing, but it's still very good. It still has that magic of Captain of the Croods. It's still very funny. I still think the first one is a bit better, but it is still highly rewatchable. Still very entertaining. Now we have Spirit Untamed. Yeah, I'm gonna be honest. This is kind of a guilty pleasure, but I know that it is kind of bad. Mainly because this is one of the first film series that I did on my channel was watching Dreamworks movies that I've never seen before, and this is one of them. To where basically, I saw all the Dreamworks movies that I needed to watch in order to go see this movie. And it was exciting for that at the time, but then I watched the movie and I'm like, oh yeah, this is a little disappointing. But was I expecting anything amazing from this? Probably not, because it looked more like a Netflix movie more than anything. But I still appreciated it. I still kind of liked it. But I'll put this one in D, towards the bottom. Boss Baby 2 Family Business. A pretty great goddarn sequel that is it's funny. The characters are endearing. It's pretty emotional in the way Ted and Tim grow up and stuff. It's really powerful stuff. And overall, I love this movie. It's not as good as the first one, but I still think it's very good. So, A category. Next up, we have The Bad Guys. And to me, this is actually a pretty fun one. I can't say that it's one of my favorites. It's definitely very clever. And also, I remember when I was in elementary school, they would show the trailers for the book. For the upcoming book that would show up on my book fair. So that's how I know about The Bad Guys and what it's a little bit about. And I'm like, okay, this seems kind of fun. And I'm so glad that it worked. It was so fun. I'm putting this one in B. Is it better than Captain Underpants? No. But I'll put it here. Puss in Boots: The Last Wish. Oh yeah, this is so amazing. And honestly, do I care that Jack and Jill didn't return in this one, or it has like Mommy Milda, not my Mommy Milda, that's Coco. Imelda, Puss in Boots' mom, adopted mom. Do I really care? Not really, because the whole movie just fleshes out in a whole new world of animation that I absolutely loved. And also, it fleshes out a bunch of other new characters, takes the fairy tale genre to a whole nother level. It is amazing. They're going up in S+ tier. And the fact that it took a sequel to one of my favorite movies of all time, a sequel to a movie about one of my favorite characters of all time, in Shrek, is so good. And I love that a film like this is actually getting recognition, and it's so well done. I'm putting this one above the first one. Actually, you know what? Yeah, fuck it. We're putting it. Yeah, I have to. Okay, I'm gonna leave it there. Yep. I'm doing that. But I still love you, Puss in Boots. Don't worry, I still love you. Ruby Gillman, Teenage Kraken. Well, I'm gonna be honest. I hated this movie. Cause it's like about a Kraken that wants to go to high school and stuff, but her mom won't let her, and like she wants to fit in, but like she's not really doing anything to like cover that she is a Kraken, and that she's not human. So it's like, how is that supposed to work? It doesn't make sense sometimes. This movie was really dumb. I'm putting this one in trash. I'm putting this one... Yeah, I'll put this one in... Yeah, trash. Trolls Band Together. This, to me, is actually one of the best DreamWorks movies that I've seen. And it's actually the Trolls 2 that I wanted. It, of course, explores Branch. It brings back the Bergens just for a little while. And it also explores Poppy's backstory and what happened, that she actually has a long-lost sister. But I also love the story with Branch. And also the music works better in here. And the animation is a lot better. So, those are my positives for Trolls Band Together. So I'll put this one at top tier. I'll put this one in at the top of S. To me, it is the best film. And also, I love that this is the movie that, like, basically, it's getting people to love Trolls now. Because before, I remember people did not like Trolls. So, yeah. Now we have Orion in the Dark. And, yeah. I can definitely understand that this movie is not very good. Actually, anyway, it's not that it's not very good, that it's just forgettable. But I will say, I kind of need to give it a rewatch, because I understood part of what they were doing with this movie. Other times, not so much. So I'm putting this one in the C category. Yeah. Now we have Kung Fu Panda 4. And this is going to be a very hard film for me to place. I'm putting this one in F. I'm sorry if you guys liked Kung Fu Panda 4. I'm not a fan of this one. This movie just ruins so much of the Kung Fu Panda lore for me that it's like, it is so agonizing of how much I hated it. To where, sure, some of the action is good, but it's like, Kung Fu Panda movies have had better action. Some of the animation styles with doing it kind of being like anime a little bit. That's kind of cool. Doesn't work actually as a whole. Not really. So, I had to put in F. Sorry. Now we have possibly DreamWorks' best movie in a long time. The Wild Robot. And for me, yeah, this is easily one of my new favorite DreamWorks movies. Top 5. Can't put it in the top 3 or number 1. But it is one of my new favorite DreamWorks movies. I loved pretty much everything about it. I remember I was so obsessed with it this past year in August going to school. And honestly, this movie is so powerful. The animation is gorgeous. I love all the characters. I love the story. And I currently am reading the book right now. It's awesome. And I'm so excited for the sequel that we get in a few years, or like 2 years or whatever. I'm so excited for that. This movie is a must-see. I believe it's still on Netflix, so definitely go watch it on Netflix somewhere. But it is an amazing movie. Absolutely love it. That's one movie that I truly recommend to everyone. If you're an animation fan, if you're a fan of robot movies, like WALL-E or Big Hero 6 or The Iron Giant, go watch it. It is a amazing movie. Then we have Dogman, which basically are from the same people that did Captain Underpants, but basically this is one of George and Harold's comic books that they created for Dogman. So basically this movie is in the writing of George and Harold. And they actually have pretty good writing chops, I'm not going to lie. I don't really remember this movie all that much, so I'm going to put this one, because I only saw it earlier this year, so I'll put this one in C. And finally, we have The Bad Guys 2. And I'll be real honest here, I think this movie was very decent. It's nothing like incredible, it's nothing like super amazing or anything like that, but it's fine. I purposely enjoyed that movie. It was okay. And that's all I really have to say about that. So I'm going to put this one in the C category. Right here. And that is it, guys. That's my tier list for all 50 Dreamworks movies. I don't know when I'll be able to update this list again. I think next time when the next Dreamworks movie comes out, I'll be giving, instead of giving me like a full list like this, I'll be giving you only my top 10 favorite Dreamworks movies of all time. And that'll be a fun rewatch since I'm basically rewatching most of the Shrek movies, plus 2 Kung Fu Pandas, and then a bunch of random other movies. Anyway, thank you guys so much for watching. I really hope you enjoyed. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. And I will see you guys in the next video. Bye-bye.